Bulls let a 2-goal lead, and all 3 points slipped from their grasp in Perth to make it back-to-back losses after their 7-game unbeaten start. And Macarthur have also lost the last 2 short hops to Parramatta, being on the end of 4-goal hammerings on both occasions, so they'll be eager to put that right here this afternoon. In terms of the teams, a couple of changes for the Wanderers, including in goal, where 20-year-old Jack Gibson makes his debut just months after re-signing for the club from Marconi Stallions. Lawrence Thomas has, of course, jetted away to join up with the Socceroos ahead of the Asian Cup. And Alex Badalato makes his starting debut on the left flank ahead of Valentino Yul. He's played just 28 minutes off the bench this season. Talking of the bench, Milos Ninkovic makes his return after injury. His only action this season came against Perth back in November, and Josh Brillante serving the 2nd game of his suspension. As Jack Gibson preferred to the more experienced Daniel Margush as Lawrence Thomas's replacement for the next month. These will be the first matches Thomas has missed since signing for the club. Now 4 changes for the Bulls. Yanni Nicolau returns at right back in place of the injured Matt Miller. Tomislav Uskok is back to partner Matt Yerman, with Jonathan Aspro-Potamitis having departed the club this week to join Pohang Steelers in South Korea. Ivan Vujica is back after a 3-game absence in place of Isaac Hobart at left back. And Jake Holman returns with Danny De Silva ruled out through injury. Lockie Rose, Ali Ugla and Jed Drew, all good options for Miller Stojovski off the bench. Uli Davila needing just 1 goal to join Lockie Rose on 18 in total for the Bulls. They would then become the joint highest scorers in the club's short history. Marco Rudan and Miller Stojovski are former teammates from their Sydney United days in the NSL back in the 90s. Under Rudan's leadership, the Wanderers haven't been out of the top 6 since the end of the 21-22 campaign. Miller Stojovski has to guide his team through a very busy spell of matches. This is the first of 4 in the next 11 days for the Bulls, which will certainly test their squad depth to the max. Referee today is Sean Evans, who was on VAR duty last night for the Mariners' Perth encounter. This is his first trip here since last season, when he sent Marcelo off late on in the Wanderers' Adelaide clash, won by the Reds by 3-2. There's Valère Germain, joint top scorer for the Bulls with 4, along with Matt Miller, who's absent today, of course. Marcelo very much the leader for the red and black. Jorrit Hendricks, a player to look out for. What a shrewd piece of business that was to bring him to Australia. 2 assists to his name already. Marcus Antonsson, the Wanderers' top scorer with 4, about to get the ball rolling in Parramatta. So just 32 kilometres separates Parramatta from Campbelltown as the crow flies. And of course they're even closer in terms of points on the A-League ladder with 15 apiece. Who wins this one and why, Grace Gill? And a Happy New Year to you.
Well, I think, Simon, a very Happy New Year to you and all of our viewers too. It's great to be here for Monday Night Football. A host of changes across both sides. Interesting to see how that plays out and how it settles in.
Marcelo looking for the early launch forwards. It's a tactic they use a fair bit, the Wanderers. Picked up here by Oscar Priestman, enjoying consecutive starts for the first time in the A-League, the young midfielder. He's got a couple of assists to his name already off the bench. So rather unfamiliar looking places to this Wanderers team. Brandon Borello, of course, is going to be out for some time with that injury. It's going to be Wanderers throw-in. Simmons, the feet of Lockie Brook. And a throw in for the Bulls, who are resplendent in all white tonight. Looking unlike Real Madrid. Let's hope for their fans' sake they play like them. Simmons clattering into the back of Jake Holman.
There's one thing we can be certain of tonight. It'll be a physical encounter. There should be goals as part of this one as well. As Tristan mentioned in pre-match, it has been a fixture and it's seen a lot of times the ball in the back of the net. Hope to be the case. Both teams haven't really had too much trouble scoring across the opening part of the season.
Yeah, both have netted on 16 occasions, but the Wanderers' defence a little bit tighter. Conceded just 10. That is the joint best defence in the league, along with Wellington. This is Alex Bonnetig, who is part of that rear guard for the Wanderers, following his injury problems. Good turn by Aidan Simmons, just to thread the ball through for Lockie Brook as well. Bonnetig. Hendricks. It's a lovely ball over the top by Jorrit Hendricks. Milanovic to square it. Goal, Western Sydney Wanderers. Less than 3 minutes on the watch. Marcus Antonsson with the tap-in. His 5th of the campaign. It was beautifully worked. And a lot of the credit needs to go to Jorrit Hendricks.
That's a flying start for Western Sydney. The perfect start for Marco Rodin, and this ball on the Harvey Norman replay. The run. Time to perfection from Milanovic. Unselfish, good vision, squares the ball as easy as you like, and Antonsson makes that look easy, steers it into the back of the net. It's a wonderful start to the new year for the Western Sydney Wanderers.
Well, the Bulls' defence caught square by that beautifully flighted ball over the top by Hendricks. Milanovic squares it up, and Marcus Antonsson wasn't going to miss from there. What a start for Marco Rodin's team. 5 in 10 for the Swede.
Well, it was direct, right over the top. Macarthur's defensive line just caught napping. Can't take anything away from the quality of the delivery from Hendricks. The timing of the run too of Milanovic kept himself onside really well.
And we mentioned those last 2 trips to the Bulls, which have both ended in 4-0 pastings at the hands of the Wanderers. Might be fearing a repeat, but they have got a corner here, Miller Stojovski's team, which Uli Davila will take. Red and black block behind Jack Gibson's goal. First test perhaps for the young goalkeeper. Sean Evans just keeping his eye on one or two things going on in that penalty box. Matt Yerman and Marcelo not too friendly. Milanovic too. Yerman rarely takes a step back, and Marcelo certainly doesn't. See about the quality of delivery from the Mexican in towards the near post, and a chance to hook it towards goal for Clayton Lewis. Wanderers had bodies in the way, I should say. Way back for Bacchus. And this is Vujetsa. Carelessly given away, and the chance for the lob over the top in return. Dylan Curto off his line. I'd say it might have been Marcelo.
I think it was. I don't mind that at all from the Wanderers, and what we saw too was really good pressure off the back of that corner, the long range effort. I'll tell you what, had that been on target, it would have been a different prospect. But good pressure from Western Sydney. to win back possession, get the ball back in their attacking half, and that was all off the defensive work from a corner. They've been tricky customers for corners this season. Western Sydney haven't yet conceded. And if Marcelo has anything to do about that, he won't want to change that one tonight.
Now the cheeky chip from the Brazilian didn't quite pay off. It's a sign of how confident perhaps the Wanderers are feeling in these early stages after the boost of that early goal. And here's the architect of it, Lorit Hendricks. It's not quite as impressive from Valentino. Coleman, give it away. Antonsen shot. Just hit the face of Macarthur defender Tomislav Uskok. They're just a little bit sharper at the moment, Western Sydney Wanderers.
Yeah, great intensity. You can see the moment any Bulls player has their first touch on the ball. We've got a Wanderers player breathing down their neck. Great energy, winning the ball back high up the field. That would have been the instruction from Marco Redan this afternoon, how quickly they can regain possession.
Tomislav Uskok. Ian Yerman, you'd suggest would be the regular central defensive pairing now, with Jonathan Aspero-Potomitis headed off to Korea. Good luck to him. That big move to Pohang Steelers. Davila is too far in front of Lewis, and Davila committing the foul.
Yeah, it's a great move for Aspero-Potomitis. A bit of a shame to see the breakup of that defensive partnership between him and Uskok.
Priestman just stood his ground, and Davila running into him. So there's Raphael on the right for the Bulls. The cross was behind both Germain and Holman. Davila. Turned into a bit of a cul-de-sac. I fancy he got an arm across the face there accidentally. Risky ball from Hendricks, but he's got away with it. Clisby. Hendricks. Slightly too far in advance of Valentino. Touch for the young goalkeeper, Jack Gibson. Shaw was a bit nervous making his starting debut. First appearance of any kind in the A-League, but hasn't had an awful lot to do as yet.
No doubt. 20-year-old, some nerves, most certainly coming into this afternoon. So have a look at the challenge. That was just the flailing arm from Lockie Brook. As I mentioned, some really physical challenges to begin this afternoon.
Good turn by Bacchus. And Lewis will feed it out in front of Davila. Nicolau bombing on beyond Raphael. Davila. Raphael again. Hendricks with the challenge. Lorit Hendricks, a player that's probably not grabbed too many headlines as yet, but every time I watched him, I just sense that he is a quality player, and his CV certainly suggests that. Here come the Bulls though. Raphael might get a second bite at it. And there's going to be a yellow card here for simulation for Raphael. There's a little bit of contact. I didn't necessarily think it was a penalty, but whether it was deserving of a yellow card, Grace, let's have a look. Yeah, it's that secondary movement.
I think Rafael Borges Rodriguez arguing that he did slip on the ball. There was some slight contact, but Sean Evans not having any of it.
The space here for Priestman. Wide left is Milanovic, looking to attack Yanni Nicolau, and hangs it up to the back post. It's 2. Aidan Simmons climbing highest and converting for the Western Sydney Wanderers. It's only his second goal in the competition. And the Bulls are 2 down before we've even reached the quarter-hour mark. And Milanovic has a brace of assists.
Well, it's a fly-in start for Western Sydney on the Harvey Norman replay. And you've got to say, Nicholas Milanovic, this is really clever play. Takes his man, drops the shoulder, causes a little separation, but the cross is really intelligent. Macarthur almost expecting it to be whipped across the face of the goal, but the little dink to the far post, and Aidan Simmons. Well, the timing on that leap is to perfection, and Wanderers are sitting pretty here.
Well, it's just beautifully floated, isn't it, by Milanovic. He drew Nicolau in, created the angle, and Simmons did the rest. His only other goal in the A-League came against the Wellington Phoenix. It's his first this season. And that goal count ticks over to 18 for the campaign. What a start for the red and black.
Aidan Simmons still had a bit of work to do on that header. As mentioned, timed his jump really well. The intelligence from Milanovic there, just to pause, pick a player out at the far post, the delivery, well, that was superb.
The Wanderers have now scored 7 goals via the head this season. That's more than any other side in the competition. And it was all too easy for Aidan Simmons at the back post. See if the Bulls can respond. Jermaine can't reach that. This is Holman. And Jack Gibson comes out and doesn't really sort it out. Macarthur claiming a push inside the box.
Well, Jack Gibson, perhaps a little unconvincing, coming for the ball. Macarthur, well, they can claim all they like, but it was really just tripping over their own players.
Davila hinting that he got a little nudge from Jorrit Hendricks, who's on the ball now. Priestman, Clisby, out to Milanovic. Looking to make it a hat-trick of assists, of course. Here's Lockie Brook. Tell you what, he wasn't too far away from getting that triple assist.
A little thumbs up from Lockie Brook, and deservedly so as well. Milanovic and I for picking out a pass this afternoon. Lockie Brook, decent on his left peg too.
And the ball's just a little too slow to sense the danger again. Shaman's been upended. Free kick. Milanovic pleading his innocence and asking Sean Evans to have a look at the big screen. Yeah, I'm not really sure he can complain about that.
It's coming incredibly late there. An opportunity for Macarthur just to take back a bit of momentum. We saw there 2 shots on target for Western Sydney, 2 balls in the back of the net.
Blake Lewis with the set-piece delivery. Got it out, but not completely away by Bonnetig. Hooked to the sideline by Jack Clisby. His job it is, or at least in part, to keep tabs on Raphael's raids down the right. Hendricks gets at a distance on his header away. Controlled by Lewis. Nicolau Touched by Raphael again. They claim contact Macarthur, but Sean Evans not interested. Bonatic with a bit of time. Marcelo. Simmons. Marcelo to go crossfield. Lovely release by the Brazilian. Milanovic. Combinations down that side of the field in particular working pretty well for the Wanderers, and again they might be in. It's Priestman. Hendricks can have a go, and the follow-up wasn't too far wide from Badalato.
There's a lot of joy down that left-hand side. Switch ball to initiate things from Marcelo was divine, and Hendricks, well, he's looking on fire this afternoon. You mentioned it, Simon. He's a fine player. May not have the goals to support the statement, but passing range is vision. And he's looking very comfortable this afternoon.
Marcelo, part of a Wanderers defence that have kept 5 clean sheets already this season. 10 last term, the best in the competition. It's what the Bulls are up against if they're going to try and turn this one around. This is Lewis and Yerman. Buskok. Bacchus. Raphael showed too much of it to the Wanderers, and the home side are back in control of the football. Wanderers with just 1 win in their last 4 matches. Their promising start, you wouldn't say it faded away, but had been halted. Here's Milanovic, who went for the early ball in. Or his teammates were really set. A little off the ball incident there involving Clisby and Bacchus, I think, but play will continue. Holman, another go, Jake Holman. What a strike! What an amazing goal from Jake Holman! That is brilliant! And Macarthur are back in the game. Top corner, Jack Gibson on debut, no chance. Super strike.
It's a wonder strike from Jake Holman on the Harvey Norman replay. The run was timed well. He has a little glance up, doesn't quite have the support, the white shirts around him, so he says, well, I'll take matters into my own hands. He's put Western Sydney Wanderers on notice. Welcome to the A-League, Jack Gibson. No one is stopping that strike.
Well, he's turned into a regular goal scorer for Macarthur. He's now their joint top scorer with 4, and that was a beauty. And in all competitions for club and country this season, he's now got 8 goals in 18. Not bad for a midfielder.
Well, that goal deserved a little more of a celebration. Somewhat subdued, understandably so, given the start that Western Sydney have had. But what a response from the youngster. Puts the Wanderers on notice well and truly.
Well, all the ingredients are there after this opening 20 minutes for a really good game between these 2 local rivals. I hesitate to call it a derby because we know really that there is only one derby that matters properly in Sydney, so far anyway. This rivalry is still rather new, of course.
Let's go with rivalry.
I think it's the correct term. Hendricks. Priestman. Milanovic hugging that left touchline again. Little angle ball in for Badalato. They wanted the 1-2. Milanovic just found his way forward, blocked. Ute. Nice touch by Germain. And pinged out beautifully by Lewis towards Raphael on the right. Macarthur have their tails up for the moment, and they've got a free kick too. Foul by Jack Clisby.
Well, feeling like Macarthur just building themselves back into this game. It's a good move. Clisby just leaves a leg in a good position too for Macarthur to set up a free kick, get some good numbers into the box, and Jack Gibson will be tested again in as many minutes.
I reckon Clayton Lewis will fancy this. It's the side of the penalty area that suits the left footer. Yet to open his account in the A-League for the Bulls. New Zealand international. He has scored in the AFC Cup. Let's see what he can conjure up here. All of three guarding that near post. Lewis always had too much elevation to trouble Jack Gibson. He'll be disappointed with that.
Just leaned back on the strike a little too much. That one always rising.
That's a good touch. Valentino on the move. Here's Jorrit Hendricks. Simmons. Lockie Brook with a little pirouette. Priestman. Looked out wide towards Simmons by Badalato. And then the intervention by Bacchus. Played 62 times in red and black for the Wanderers in the earlier part of his career. Nice spin to get out of trouble, but there's nobody there to pick up his pass.
And again, it's just that really good pressure from Western Sydney the moment they lose the ball. Turning on their opposition, really hurrying, hustling to get a touch back in, and the pass is given straight back to the red and black.
Clisby. Marcelo had made a little dart into space to give him an option. Lockie Brook. Intervention by Yearman. And now the Bulls will be able to get out. Looking for the quick transition. Wanderers quick to retreat in numbers. Davila. Nicolau. Beyond him is Raphael, but good cover provided by young Alex Bonneting. He's back from his injury a little ahead of schedule, I'd suggest. I think it was supposed to be January before he was fit again, Bonneting, but reinstalled alongside Marcelo. This is Lewis. Bacchus. Ute. Charged down by Brook. Holman just quite able to link up with his fullback. He's now out of position. Call that ball and all from Matt Yearman. Real central defender's challenge.
It's a proper defensive challenge there. Matt Yearman not too happy about it. He's been given a yellow card. He did get the ball.
Deemed to be a little reckless. It seemed to me that he clearly won the ball. Anyhow, Sean Evans had other ideas. Is tackling a dying art, Grace?
Yeah, apparently so.
Simmons in a good position here for the Wanderers, and it'll be a corner off for Ute.
It's been a really lively start for the Wanderers, almost the dream start with the exception of the response from Jake Holman, a moment of individual brilliance. Macarthur won't be too pleased about that, but must be happy with his sides opening to this match.
Sometimes you just got to take your hat off, haven't you, and say it was a brilliant strike, which it was from Jake Holman. There's plenty going on in that penalty area. Fired in by Brook, skimmed off the head of Bacchus. And Milanovic to retrieve. Priestman squares it up for Clisby. There's nobody there on the right-hand side for Western Sydney Wanderers. Forward by Lewis, but not quite enough on it to get around Marcelo. It's going to be a free kick. Aaron Bacchus with the offence. Oscar Priestman, the former Sydney FC junior. Brook. Simmons having to check his run. Hendricks. Brook. And Clisby. Milanovic. Wanderers having to be patient. Bonatic inserting himself into this attack. Milanovic. That's a lovely ball by Milanovic. Clisby in behind, the cutback, and Badalato's shot. Out it comes again for Lockie Brook. Macarthur get bodies in the way, and they managed to repel that particular raid. But again, that left-hand side, the Wanderers just played through the Bulls' defence.
They're looking so sharp at the moment. The passing choice is right, decision-making, ball speed. She's picking Macarthur apart at the moment. Perhaps a little unlucky, Western Sydney, not to get a shot on target. The defensive shape by Macarthur had players in the way. That was dazzling play down the left-hand side yet again.
No Matt Miller down that flank, of course, today. He's ruled out with a quad injury. Maybe they are missing him, particularly the sort of defensive cover that he offers as well for Yanni Nicolau. That looked like handball. Either Sean Evans says it wasn't, or he just didn't spot it. Clearly seemed to come off the hand of Jorrit Hendricks.
I think fair to say Macarthur are missing Matt Miller. What he provides, not only defensively rather, but in the way of bombing forward. A real attacking outlet too, and had to rejig a few things today with Stajovski.
There we go, clearly handball.
Yeah, interesting.
Sean Evans couldn't have had a better view of it.
Yeah, right on side to see that one.
It's been a really good opening half an hour. 3 very well taken goals. It's a foul on Clisby.
You're right, Simon. Opening 30 minutes has been really energetic, really entertaining. Some good football, especially from Western Sydney. Good quality, good goals, good passing.
Milanovic has 2 assists already. He's managed to keep that ball alive. Clisby has time. the inclination to deliver the ball into the box. And they'll reload. Priestman, nobody in the back post. Holman will save the ball from going out for a throw. Wanderers are 4 wins from 4 when they've scored the first goal in a game so far this season. That's a brilliant strike from Jake Holman. Getting Macarthur back into the contest. Jake Holman. Yerman. Lewis, a little look over the shoulder just to check what his options were. Holman. Decent football by the Bulls. Davila. Backus. Back to the Mexican who drives towards the penalty box. Just overhit the pass slightly, but Jake Holman will retrieve it. And he has support from Vujica. The angled return from Lewis is too heavy. Which is a pity for Macarthur because they were nice and patient there. Played it around quite nicely. Priestman. Square for Battolato. Hendricks. Game's had a good rhythm to it, not just in the stands either. Bonatic brings it out towards Simmons. Brook. Priestman, tight watch by Uskok. Yerman takes control. Davila readjusted nicely to play it out to Holman. Raphael. Backus. Macarthur, of course, went 7 unbeaten at the start of the season. They have lost their last 2, conceding 3 goals on each occasion. They've got 2 already here, but got 1 at the other end. Raphael. Too deep. And Holman quite able to keep it alive for the Bulls.
Certainly the start of this game is frantic. Bernard Barillo.
Josh Belanto alongside, receiving the second game of his suspension. For that red card he received against Adelaide United. Macarthur wanted a foul there, but play on was the verdict. Now the whistle does go, and it's in favour of Western Sydney. A drag back from Backus. Milanovic. Marcelo. Can have a go here, Marcelo. Why not? 1 goal this season against Western United. Answered his chances of a second.
Yeah, don't mind that at all from Marcelo. You can see his eyes just assessing the options and sort of tries like himself. He did sweetly, just rising over the crossbar, but had that been on target, given Philip Curto a little bit to think about.
Bonatiga judged guilty of holding on to Davila. He's a really good young prospect though, isn't he? Central defender.
Started really brightly this afternoon. Looks very comfortable on the ball too.
Father played for Wollongong City in the days of the NSL. And his brother, who's also a central defender, signed on for Celtic late last year on a 3-year deal. So it's quite a footballing family.
Footballing pedigree. And to learn alongside the experience of Marcelo as well. Well, it's quite a partnership back there.
No better player to learn from, let's be honest. Even the level that Marcelo has played at. No way forward for Lewis, charged down by Brook. Lewis trying to stay with him, and Lockie Brook had just inadvertently taken the ball over the sideline there. Throw in for Macarthur. Just that little drag back there. Did the whole of the ball go out?
Well, sure it did.
Yeah. Very much a talking point around the world at the moment, isn't it? Particularly for the byline. Here's Davila. Carried out nicely by Bacchus. Raphael, have a go here. Lacked power and ultimately precision as well.
He's the creator of so many of those moments. Davila had close contact either side of him, but how quickly he can split apart a defence.
Thompson wrestled to the floor by Scott. It's what Ollie Davila was complaining about, that little fend off from Oscar Priestman. Here's Badalato meantime. Priestman. Wanderers threatening again. Oh, Lockie Brook, that was clever. Nice and inventive. Almost sold the dummy to Philip Curto, trying to go near post.
Also close from Lockie Brook. Just inches out past the near post. The way in which the Wanderers are getting into these goal-scoring positions. The initial pass from Hendricks, well, takes out 2-3 defenders in one fell swoop.
It's a careless giveaway from Bacchus, and now he's over-eager in his efforts to try and get the ball back. And the Wanderers will have themselves a free kick in a very dangerous position. They were too casual in possession.
Yeah, undoubtedly a foul. Bacchus, you can't come in flying like that. But for Priestman, really respect him getting back to his feet as quickly as he could, trying to continue with the play.
Marcus Antonsson says, I'll take this. Does he go for power, given that it's so close? Philip Curto has quite a decent looking wall to try and guard that near post. It has to stand firm if the Swede goes for venom. Trying to lift it over the top, and always difficult when you're so close in to get it over the top of the wall and then back down.
Well, you need that technique that can have the ball dip quickly while clearing the wall. It's a tough one to hit when you do hit them sweetly. They're pretty to watch. That one for Antonsson, not quite the quality.
Call it a knuckleball, I think, won't they? That wasn't it.
It'll be a big half-time talk for Marco Rudan. This has been a positive first 45 minutes for the Wanderers, where largely they've been a better second-half team across the opening of the season. 2 goals in the first half. Well, it's not their usual approach.
So if they can extend their lead here. The shot from Valentino didn't have enough curl on it. It's been a decent starting debut so far for Alex Badalato. Been involved in plenty of the Wanderers' attacking movements.
See, they're still setting really high, the Wanderers, trying to put that press on, which has worked effectively for the most part. Just herding Macarthur back into their own defensive half, waiting for the pass. That's good defensive shape from the Wanderers.
Yerman. Woskok. Davila for Vujitsa. Simmons applying the press. Valentino to try and follow suit. Probably was a foul, I reckon, but Sean Evans happy to play on with Macarthur in possession. Wits up in support of Holman. Jake Holman again. Raphael. Squared up by Lewis. Nicolau. This is Valère Germain. Vujitsa. Raphael. Bacchus. Too straight, too heavy.
And that's largely due to the Wanderers' defensive discipline. Good shape, all very willing to do the work, to cover players, and ultimately it's forced Macarthur to be a little impatient and look for the ball over the top. Too direct. Not the right choice on that occasion.
Half-time approaching. Wanderers have conceded just 4 second-half goals this season. It's the lowest of any team in the Isuzu Ute A-League men's competition. And as happy as I reckon Marco Redan will be with the performance, I just feel a little bit frustrated that they're not further in front. Jack Gibson's not had an awful lot to do. Picking the ball out of the net from that wonder hit from Jake Holman. Macarthur appealing for offside here. There's no flag on Antonsen. Steered away by Yerman. Now the flag does go off belatedly. And there's a bit going on between Clisby and Germain. And it is not too friendly.
Well, we said there'd be a bit about this game. One would be the physicality, and that's there. A bit of spice, and there'd be goals as well. So far, both proving to be true.
There's that little off-the-ball incidents behind play. And there's no flag initially, but it did eventually go up. Priestman and Lewis involved in a real arm wrestling match. And then Clisby comes careering into the back of Clayton Lewis and knocks him for 6. VAR, of course, checking all this. Tempers fraying at the edges. Let's see what action, if any, Sean Evans takes. Lewis needing some attention. Sean Evans will take counsel from his linesman and from Chris Griffiths-Jones in the VAR booth. This could be a key moment in first half stoppage time if severe sanctions are called for, with the game so finely balanced.
Yeah, well, there's a bit going on here. The challenge between Lewis and Priestman, the shirt pull, and then Clisby comes flying in. It's the one that's put Lewis on the deck.
Joe Clisby gets a yellow card. Now Marcelo saying, OK, but what about Clayton Lewis, who wrestled Oscar Priestman to the ground? And who gets a caution as well.
Yeah, I think that's the right call there. The Carter piece for their involvement in that coming together.
Lewis's fourth caution of the campaign, which puts him on the brink of a suspension. A game that had largely been played in pretty even temper up to that point. I think the right verdict was reached eventually. 3 minutes added on as a minimum, but of course we're going to go beyond that because of that stoppage. Launched forward by Clisby. There's a foul on Matt Yeoman. Badalato, the offender. Quickly on with it, wanting perhaps to restore parity before the break. Lewis getting the boos from the Wanderers supporters. You haven't sent it wide. Vujitsu will cross in. Davila to reach it. Sorted out by the Wanderers defence. Go. Oh, an entertaining first half. No shortage of talking points. The Wanderers on top for the most part. They took the lead through Marcus Antonsson's 5th of the season after just 3 minutes. Nicholas Milanovic with the first of 2 assists, the second for Aidan Simmons for his first of the campaign. But Macarthur hit back with an absolutely wonderful strike from Jake Holman, which keeps them in it. The Wanderers have had more of the opportunities. But at the break, the lead is only a narrow one. Half-time in Parramatta. Western Sydney Wanderers 2, Macarthur 1. We're off to a quick break. On the other side of it, we've got the half-time show with Tristan McManus, Ray Skill and myself. Don't go away.
Craig Goodwin delivers the free kick in. It's a good ball, and it's the opening goal from the towering Harry Suter. Miller is there with Metcalf. He dinks the ball back in. Great header. Mitch Duke. What a story. 11 goals now in green and gold.
Back to Combank, and it's time for the Hungry Jacks half-time show. Last year in the first 20 minutes we got 2 goals. This year we got 3. And by the way the Wanderers started, it was clear who got the early fireworks last night. Marcus Anderson after 3 minutes got the first goal. Milanovic put the second one for Aidan Simmons, and this wonder goal by Jake Holman, half the deficit. But as it was last year, the Wanderers leave at half-time. Talking you through those highlights from the first half are Simon Hill and Grace Gill.
Yeah, thanks very much, Tristan. Let's have a look at the Harvey Norman highlights. Grayson, the Wanderers were on it from the start. What about that for a ball from Jorrit Hendricks?
Delightful. And Hendricks has been that player all afternoon, just picking out passes, cutting through the lines, and Milanovic, he's started really brightly as well. I'd say the first 15-20 minutes was all one-way traffic with Western Sydney, and almost a dream start for Marco Rudan.
Marcos Antonsen with his 5th of the season, fed by Nicholas Milanovic, who was to add a second assist to his tally later on in the half, as the Bulls' defence were caught a little square. Here is that second assist, beautifully flighted, and Aidan Simmons climbing high at the back post to convert.
Yeah, it was a really, really well taken goal. Nice build-up, smart play. Milanovic just taking his player on 1v1, affording himself a bit of space, and Simmons, as I said, had a bit of work to do. He's timed his leap to perfection, met the ball at the highest point. Back across the face of the goal too. That's a tricky one for Philip Curto to deal with.
Just his second goal in the competition all told, and just when we thought the Wanderers might be about to run away with it, as they've done in the last 2 home meetings against Macarthur, this happened. What a strike.
Oh, well, it has to be a contender for a goal of the year, and Jake Holman back into the starting side for Macarthur this afternoon. So casual with the strike. Looked like time stood still for a moment. That one is cleaning out the cobwebs, if not knocking them off the inside of the post.
You've got an early Grace, January the 1st, goal of the year. Who knows, it might be. Let's have a look at the half-time stats. Heavily favouring the Wanderers in an attacking sense. 12 shots on goal to the Bulls' 5, but only 2 of those on target. That will be a frustration for Marco Rudan as they look to get back to winning ways. And the Bulls have just given themselves a chance in the second half with that Jake Holman strike. Let's go back down to Tristan McManus. Tris.
Thanks, Simon. Yeah, I'm here with Brandon Borello. Brandon, it's great to see you. Had to have a shave today just so I didn't fanboy over you again. Most people's Christmas list would have included you getting back. How are you feeling? How's the leg? I see you lost the wheels.
Well, that was on my list as well. But yeah, I've lost the wheels. I'm now on the crutches. So yeah, it's looking forward. I'd say we're probably maybe a little bit ahead of schedule, but yeah, there's still a bit of work to do.
When you say ahead of schedule, everyone wants to know, because we've had very few updates on you. Ask all the time. No one's giving me anything. It's obviously a bone, so it's very difficult. It's not like a muscle coming back. How's the head? How's the leg?
The head's good. I'm allowed to be around the boys at training, you know, and it's always good because, you know, you miss out on that part in the change room when you're injured. So I always make sure I'm first one in, last one to leave. It's good like that. But the leg's good. I think the biggest thing with this injury is, you know, if the bone's healed, that's great, but it's all the muscles around. So like I said, there's a lot of work in the gym to do. You know, I've got a little bit of a baby calf at the moment, so
Skip a leg there.
yeah, definitely. But yeah, that's all there is to it. I guess the football component comes with it, but yeah, I'm just dying to touch a ball, mate.
So when it comes to the football today, I mean, it must be frustrating watching, but how are you finding today's game? You're off the blocks pretty hot.
It's not frustrating at all when the boys start like that. I mean, you know, they pulled one back, but if they're going to score like that, it's nice football, isn't it? All credit to Jake Holman. Jake Holman? Yeah. But no, the boys have started well. They've got a lot of shots on target. They're creating chances. It's good. Hopefully they can start the second half the way they did the first.
Super. What a power play that was, by the way. What's like his name again? Superb goal. What's the thing? Well, you've been confident scoring in the first half or scoring in the second half. Is that something that you need to address today, scoring in both halves, or is it just about the win?
For sure. I mean, if you look at the way we played last year, our second halves were never anything to go by. So usually we get the job done in the first half at home. Now it's 2-0 is never fun. 2-1's even worse. But as long as the boys stick to it, like I said, as long as they tap into what they did at the start of the game, they should be all right.
Good on you. Great to see you.
Likewise.
Hopefully it comes back even quicker next week. Superb. That was Brandon Brella there, guys.
Thanks,
What a
Chris.
guy he is, huh?
He is. It's such a pity he's going to miss the Asian Cup with that injury, but that's football. Here's our Paramount Plus Player Index report card for the first half, and Jake Holman is up at the top, Grayskill.
Well, you'd have to say that would be around the XG on that goal, and what a wonder strike it was. That's put him to the top of the table there, but understandably a lot of Western Sydney Wanderers players in 4th, 5th and 6th.
He's been a handy player for the Bulls in terms of providing goals from midfield this season. That his 4th of the campaign, and he's now joint top scorer along with Valère Germain and the absent Matt Miller. So as the fans check their phones and have a cup of tea and a pie, let's go back down to Tristan again.
Superb. Thanks for that, Simon. I don't know if these Wanderers fans, if they went to bed early or they haven't been to bed yet, but they've been fantastic. We should all unite together, and we will be in 2 weeks' time. Today is obviously the last day you get to take advantage of this Boxing Day special. 10% off all family tickets for the Unite round that happens on the 12th to the 14th of January. The A-League's great. You don't want to miss any of it, and you don't want to miss the second half. Coming up after this break. And that is the end of the Hungry Jacks halftime show.
Unbelievable! He is well and truly cooking.
How about that?
Wouldn't you know it? Unbelievable! Extraordinary!
Poetic! It was meant to be!
Well, let it never end. Oh, here goes Sam Kerr, through on goal. Kerr blasts it into the roof of the net. Australia's all-time leading goal scorer. Fowler, it opens up for the shot. Oh, Mary Fowler, breathtaking. What a goal from the Golden Girl, Mary Fowler.
Yes, looking forward to seeing the Matildas back in action in February as they try to get a place in the Paris Olympics. Here, Macarthur, they're going to have to try and find a way back into this local stoush against the Wanderers without 2 or even 3 of their injured players. Matt Miller, who's out with a quad injury today. Danny De Silva was injured last week against Perth, and partly hidden from view was Jake McGing, who's been out since the start of the season. Jake Holman has kept the Bulls in the game, and they do have an uncanny habit of scoring late goals in matches this season, the Bulls. They've netted 7 times in the final quarter of an hour of matches. So all is not yet lost for Macarthur as they seek to avert what would be a 3rd consecutive defeat. But for the most part, Grace Gill, as we wait for the Wanderers to retake the field for the second half, the Wanderers have been on top. And I guess if Marco Redan has any bones to pick with his players, it's that they haven't converted enough of those chances in the first half.
Yeah, fair to say it could have been a much bigger deficit at play for the Wanderers and Macarthur. But you're right, the Macarthur Bulls are a very good second half team. 7 goals in the final 15 minutes of play for them across the season, but 50% in the final half hour. That's a big 45 minutes coming up. I think that the Wanderers will want to buckle down and add to their tally as well.
Oh, outright 3rd spots is the prize for the winners today. Position currently held by the Wanderers on goal difference. Melbourne City and the Bulls also on 15 points. Nathan Simmons on the mark in the first half. So we've got the 2 teams. We're just now waiting for the officials, who are a little bit late out of the changing rooms. Come on, Sean Evans and co. We're waiting. Here they come. Normally it's the refs chasing up the players, Grace. The Wanderers with a half-time lead for just the 3rd time this season. Last year they made a habit of it, leading the break on no fewer than 15 occasions. You pulled out a good stat at half-time, Grace. That means that the Wanderers have yet to win a game this season in which the opposition have found the back of the net.
Well, it's a worrying one for the Wanderers. Perhaps a question of their resilience and mentality.
Well, Marco Redan has done his job. Milo Stajovski likewise. And we're good to go for the second half at Combank Stadium. No changes made by either coach at the break. Milo Stajovski, a defence who will want a little bit more from his team in an attacking sense in this second half. That's how it stands at the moment. Alex Badalato on the left-hand side. Beyond him is Oscar Priestman, and he's found the angle for the cross. It was just a fraction too high for Marcus Antonsson.
That's a great start from Western Sydney. The question really for the first 45 into the second will be, can the Wanderers maintain that level of energy and intensity we saw from that first half, because it was excellent. Closing down space really quickly, pressing high. To be approaching this in a similar fashion, first signs would suggest.
Raphael. Frisbee got tight to him, but there was no foul. Marcelo. Neither of the teams at the start of play today, that's beyond Antonsson. Wanderers making some changes, most notably in goal. Jack Gibson replacing the Asian Cup bound Lawrence Thomas. First start as well for Alex Badalato. This is Valentino Yul. There he is. 18 years of age. And the Bulls making a host of changes as well, 4 in total. Matt Miller and Yanni De Silva unavailable. And of course, Jonathan Aspro-Potomitis now having departed the club for Pohang Steelers in Korea. Here's Raphael on the right. And he found the space and it almost sneaked through. The Holman on that far post. Milanovic. Nobody as yet willing to close him down for the Bulls, so he just floats it in. A chance that was so easy in its creation for Lockie Brook. The Bulls just stood off and really allowed Nicholas Milanovic the freedom of the pitch.
Well, he took the space in front of him, and he's gone through a mountain of work this afternoon, Milanovic. There's no pressure applied on the delivery, and Lockie Brook did well to arrive and almost steer his header right into the hands of Philip Curto. Nonetheless, this is looking to be a really bright start yet again from Western Sydney.
First of 2 home matches in a row for the Wanderers. Central Coast Mariners will be arriving at Combank Stadium on the 6th of January. The Wanderers travel to Melbourne to play City. Have got Newcastle at home on the 5th of January, and then a trip to Adelaide, as mentioned at the start. 4 games in 11 days for the Bulls. Busy schedule. Priestman has stolen in around the blind side of Kira Bacchus. It's shut down by Matt Yeoman.
He's made a really good account of himself in his performance this afternoon, Oscar Priestman. Perhaps could have released that shot a moment earlier, just held onto it, laboured on the touch a little too long, and Macarthur could close the space.
Monetig's ball. And Nathan Simmons got that all wrong.
Someone else has made a great account of himself, Alex Monetig, this afternoon. Nice delivery on that ball out to Simmons. Idea was right, looking for the first time cross into the box, but didn't quite have the connection he needed.
Yeah, a ball playing left-sided centre-back.
Ooh, music to my ears, Simon.
Yeoman again in the way, and Hendricks quite have enough on it to steer it into the path of Priestman, but then a bit of miscommunication by the Bulls, and possession back to the home side. Clisby booked in that little skirmish with Lewis in the first half. Milanovic. Again, room to find the cross, but over the head of Antonsen, and nobody arriving at the back post this time in red and black.
Oh, Milanovic having a lot of joy on a couple of occasions now. Nicolau just affording him too much space. Just sitting back and not closing down the pressure. Given the kind of form that Milanovic is in, you don't want to allow a player just the time on the ball. He can prove just how damaging he can be.
Flicked by Lewis, but goes all the way through to Monetig. Clisby. And Marcelo. Threads the gap between the 2 defensive lines for Lockie Brook, and he was trying to play Milanovic in behind. Now Holman for the Bulls.
Something that Marcelo does so well, though, picks a pass, a single pass cutting off 4 Macarthur players, and although it didn't have the outcome intended, Lockie Brook's touch letting him down a little, but incisive from the back.
Badalato. Milanovic. That run by Clisby was well tracked by the Bulls. And just a foot left dangling by the youngster on Uli Davila. He's in some discomfort. Raphael manages to keep his feet, and somehow the ball, everybody seemed to run away from the ball for a moment. And whether there's just a little tweak of the groin there for Raphael.
Yeah, you saw immediately.
Floated forward by Marcelo, perfect! And it needed that intervention by Curto. Antonsen has stayed down, and now the whistle goes so the Swede can get some attention. And Raphael might need some as well at the other end of the park.
Well, I think so. Raphael went to ground immediately, grabbing at the groin, and again the long ball searching over the top from Marcelo. Good idea as well. Curto's off his line really well.
He's in no condition to get back to his feet just yet, Marcus Antonsen. And there is Raphael, who's not walking freely. He's saying he's okay for the time being, but we'll see.
You wouldn't want to risk that, though,
No.
if he has felt a little tweak in the groin. That you have to be smart enough, to pull yourself off.
Here's how it happened. Just when he went to ground, just feeling as though something had twanged a little bit. Marcus Antonsen is back up and about, but a little gingerly. And you'd imagine, particularly if you're Miller Stajovski with possible groin injury for Raphael, he's got Jed Drew on the bench, Ali Ugla, Lockie Rose can play there. He's got plenty of options in that position.
Yeah, some really good attacking options. Definitely a younger bench to that of Macarthur than what the Wanderers have. Some youthful energy perhaps needing to be injected into the game.
Lockie Rose looks perhaps the most likely at the moment, or maybe that's just wishful thinking on his behalf. Raphael to continue for now. Looks to be moving okay at the moment. Antonsen's back with us too. Worked out wide by Vujica. Lewis. Marcelo, good anticipation. Jack Gibson, who's not had an awful lot to do between the posts on debut. With the clearance upfields. Bounce deceiving Davila. Neither side really able to put their foot on the ball for the last minute or two. Now the Bulls will. Matt Yerman. Vujica. Holman. Nice turn by the Bulls midfielder. Bacchus. Raphael. Turns back out for Bacchus. Davila. Thought about taking it back off Raphael. Instead it was intended for Nikolaus, left a little bit short. The fullback's drawn the contact from Clisby, got the free kick. Yeah, just a little shove in the back. This is a bit better from Macarthur, playing higher up the park. Ulmer works it out for Vujica, who will hang it up in the air towards Jaman. Dealt with by the Wanderers. Not able to fully clear their lines just yet. Yerman. Nice threaded ball through for Holman. Davila wants it. Still Jake Holman. Nicolau. They're probing Macarthur. That's a foul which will relieve that little spell of pressure committed by Clayton Lewis.
Much more positive spell from Macarthur. On a few occasions in the first half, showing signs of impatience, but on that occasion just holding the ball, waiting for gaps to open up before the delivery came through. It was too much of a tall ask to whip a ball in the air, and the prospect of beating Marcelo, who headed away comfortably.
Milanovic. Clisby. Roll down the line for Badalato, and Clisby had continued the run and seen out for a corner by Tomasz Larwoskok.
It's really proactive movement from the Wanderers, and that's probably the difference at this point. You're seeing red and black shirts moving off the ball, running into space, shifting the Macarthur defence, and it's where their moments are opening up.
It's only the third corner of the game. It's brought Marcelo forward. We know what a threat he can be aerially from these sort of set-piece situations. Looks like it's going to be the outswinger from Jorrit Hendricks. And Bonatic helps it on towards goal, but routine for Curto.
Well, routine, but Macarthur didn't deal with it well. Wanderers with a resulting shot on target.
So is a judge guilty of committing the foul? I think it's safe to say he doesn't think so. It seemed to be a lot in him, but let's see.
No, I don't think so. Jake Holman had already gone to ground, and
It's maybe just a glancing blow with the left knee to the buttocks.
a little soft, but ultimately Wanderers back with the ball at their feet.
With not quite the domination they had in the first half, although they have created the only real chance of the second. That's headed by Lockie Brook. I wonder if he could make the difference. He has done so many times down the years. Milos Ninkovic back on the bench after long-term injury. He's played only once off the bench this season. Just a few minutes against Perth Glory in the earlier part of the campaign. Simmons has help from Brook. A good intervention by Holman.
Oh, that pass lacking quality, but Holman is some player.
Jed Drew is going to be called upon by Miller Sajovski. I wonder if that means the end of the section for Raphael. After that little injury scare some minutes ago. Shaman dug out well and ferried it out towards Holman, but good tracking back by Jorrit Hendricks. Priestman. Now there's a bit of room for Badalato. He needed to get that touch in though. Nicolau nipped in. A loose ball though favours the Wanderers. Early cross, Nicolau chests it down and sends it out of harm's way for the Bulls. Wanderers will come again though. And they managed to split those defensive lines. Antonsen, all the sting taken out of the shot by Uskok.
Just the quality of that passing between the lines, particularly from Hendricks this afternoon. I mentioned in the first half, perhaps doesn't have the goals to suggest as such, but I'd say he's one of the best midfielders in the league in terms of his passing quality, vision, distribution.
He's got the third most passes collectively in the A-League men's, behind Jay O'Shea and his club teammate Josh Brillante this season. He's very, very neat and tidy footballer, and this was his involvement in the opening goal. Beautifully flighted for Milanovic, who centred, and Antonsen did the rest. Changes for both teams. Raphael takes his leave. Jed Drew his replacement. And Valentino Yul is also introduced for the Western Sydney Wanderers. Lockie Brook is the man he replaces.
It's 60 minutes or thereabout mark for coaches turning to the benches, an injection of energy and fresh legs. Definitely a slower second 45 minutes from what we saw in the opening part of this match.
Lewis still getting the boost from the Wanderers fans. That's a first half incident. It's the right idea from the Kiwi, and it's worked out all right for the Bulls. Drew, and just screwed wide from Uli Davila. Good chance that for Macarthur.
Yeah, Macarthur feeling like they've got a bit more about them. Good introduction from Jed Drew. I know he's a pacey player. Does really well to pick out Davila as well. And how many times have we seen Uli Davila from that part of the field finding the back of the net?
That falls to his more favoured left foot. It might have been a different story. And the Wanderers make them pay. Milanovic. Nobody read the cutback. And Jerman's cushion header will set Jed Drew away down the right. Backus joining in with the attack. Davila. Did he get a little kick there, Uli Davila? He thought so.
Perhaps he did, and I think that's guaranteed is that Davila gets a lot of attention in games. He's such the architect in this Macarthur side. And it is closely marshalled. Another look. Yep, just a little step on the top of the foot.
Milanovic, intelligent running from Badalato. Just not quite the combination there with Marcus Antonsen and the youngster. But he showed plenty of promise, Alex Badalato.
Yeah, he's been really good this afternoon. Making a great account of himself too, the 18-year-old. Good movement, just lacking that quality inside the 18-yard box to try and get a shot away. But ever the willing runner into space.
Still on a 2-year scholarship deal, the 18-year-old. There's the Wanderers under another change off the bench. Gabriel Kleur. Meantime, Nicolau, and there's room here for Jed Drew. The ball's threatening. And then a little drag back on Oscar Priestman. Relieves that bit of pressure for Western Sydney.
Well, he's positioned well, Oscar Priestman, in what had been a better build-up yet again by Macarthur. It feels like they're just building. That was a really lovely ball. Just slid through there from Nicolau. Priestman wasn't positioned at that near post.
Here's that change for Western Sydney. Gabriel Kleur to replace Oscar Priestman. So winning that free kick was his final action. But he's done well, the youngster. His second consecutive start. Only his first against Wellington, but Neat and tidy work in midfield. Midfield role for Gabriel Kleur. We're accustomed to seeing him at right fullback, of course.
Yeah, I had wondered with the substitution, seeing Gabriel Kleur being the first option off the bench. I think that would be a slightly more defensive prospect, but as you say, he's found himself in midfield.
Another player is working his way back into the team. Got his first minutes of the season off the bench against Wellington in that 2-0 loss last week. Milanovic, this time they do read the little cutback to the top of the box. Badalato, Milanovic in behind, and Yul couldn't apply the finishing touch. It is, however, going to be a corner for Western Sydney.
Oh, it's excellent play from Milanovic. That first touch around Nicolau, well, that's exceptional. He creates all this space for himself to get the cross in, the delivery to the near post. He's just been wonderful this afternoon.
Credit to Ivan Vujic, who got across Valentino Yul. So a corner for Hendricks to deliver in front of the red and black block. Plenty of air towards Marcelo at the back post. Only partly away, and Badalato. Well, by the looks of it, that was not too far away from curling in.
I'll tell you what, that came off the boot nicely for Badalato. And he too has had an excellent performance this afternoon, and there was not much in that.
Marcelo. Nathan Simmons all wrapped up by Jake Holman. He's come away with the ball. And a little bit of retribution gain on behalf of his teammate by Gabriel Kleur.
They're the moments of intensity. Jake Holman winning the ball back for his side that Macarthur need. They need a leveller here.
And as dominant generally as the Wanderers have been, the points are by no means safe for Marco Redan's team as we approach the final 20. First game of the new calendar year. Vujic. Chances haven't been nearly as plentiful for the Wanderers in the second half. Marcelo to carry it forward. Milanovic. There's a little bit of pace on that release from Marcelo, which made it awkward to control for the Wanderers winger. Here's Gabriel Kleur. And Milanovic is there, top of the box. Time to set himself, but he's dragged his effort across the face of goal. And well wide in the end.
Presented itself really nicely to Milanovic. You can see he's just sliced underneath the ball, skewed that one wayward. Almost had far too much time and space on the ball, though, just outside the 18-yard box.
Valentino Yul nips in to take it off the toe of Holman. Up and away by Yerman. Antonsen trying to protect the ball, full-blooded challenge that, involving Davila and Hendricks, I think. Germain. Lewis.
Yeah, those ones hurt. A heavy clash of shins coming together. Good to see both players back to their feet.
We are approaching the part of the game where this season the Bulls have started to come alive. A reminder, 7 goals in the last quarter of an hour of A-League matches this season, Macarthur. We're almost at that point. And Wanderers' lead is only a slender one. They'll want the comfort of a third. Something through for Antonsen. Oh, the shot was a horrible shank in the end. Even Simmons just pulled up a little proppy on the back of that. It's going to be a wondrous throw, but they've got a problem with Aidan Simmons here.
Yeah, I wonder if he's not having a bit of cramp there, but concerning signs to see him go to ground.
Another change for Macarthur. We're going to see Lockie Rose introduced for Ulysses Davila. He's got through a pile of work as he normally does. Uli Davila, no goal for him today against the Wanderers. Normally his favourite opposition, incidentally. 5 goals in 8 matches against the Red and Black prior to today. But Lockie Rose is called upon to try and deliver something late on for Miller Stojovski's team. Be the end of the section for Aidan Simmons. Home fans trying to lift their team and get them over the line.
Yeah, great to hear the atmosphere here at Combank Stadium lifting as the game wears on. This is a big 15 minutes coming up for both sides, and as you mentioned, Simon, particularly Macarthur, this is their favourite goal-scoring period of the game.
Badalato. Back heel by Clare. Badalato found the angle. Also found Philip Curto, who releases the ball quickly. A little readjustment while the ball's in attack. Jake Holman has gone into a more central position. Jed Drew moved out to the left, and Lockie Rose now operating on the right. This is Valère Germain. Away by Simmons, who's still with us after receiving treatment for whatever was ailing him. Muskok, Nicolau. Lewis. Boyens' touch. Jed Drew. Macarthur edging forward. Lewis. Looking for the give and go. With Drew, they're in behind. Lewis. Deflection made it awkward. Good stop that by Jack Gibson. Not called into action on too many occasions tonight.
That's an important save by the young goalkeeper, if not for confidence. A tricky one in amongst traffic, and Macarthur definitely feel like they're building, but they've got problems here.
Well, they've hung on in this game. Clayton Lewis is down on the far side. And struggling to continue. So Lockie Rose is chasing back to add numbers. Valère Germain too. You can't try and win the ball like that, Valère Germain. In fact, it's Boyens on the far side who's saying he cannot continue. And is literally going to hop off the pitch.
Oh, it's a really disappointing one for Boyens. He knew straight away, took himself to ground, and just holding off on that right foot, the right ankle. Disappointing end to his return.
Oliver Jones is going to be his replacement as the Wanderers fans turn up the volume again. Only just back in the team after a lengthy absence, and Ali Ugla is also going to be introduced late on by Miller Stojovski. Blake Lewis gets his number called and gets the boos. Long memories the Wanderers fans for that incident in the first half. And we're going to see Dylan Parias on for the last quarter of an hour as well. As Tate Russell, Nicholas Milanovic, who has been really good tonight, 2 assists for the 2 Wanderers goals. And I'm pretty sure Aidan Simmons is going to be the man, or the other man, replaced for the Wanderers. There we go. Like-for-like swap with Tate Russell. It's like Piccadilly Junction down there. We're going to see Milos Ninkovic as well. It's a triple change for Western Sydney. A very satisfying starting debut for Alex Badalato, but listen to the roar for the return of Milos Ninkovic. Seeing him at Combank Stadium for the first time this season. Still very much a favourite, even at 39 years of age, which he is now. Turned 39 on Christmas Day. Floated into the box by Hendricks. Marcelo's up there, won't sit for Yul. And there's a flag up anyway against the Wanderers.
Well, a whole host of changes there, if you can keep up with it. Disappointing end to his afternoon. Vujica. But both coaches, well, throwing everything at this one. Looking for a leveller, and Marco Rudan, he would love a little bit of security in this result.
Yanni Nicolau for the Bulls. Bacchus. Holman. Right on the left was Jones. All the way back for Yearman. Comfortable for Yul. Antonsson. Dylan Parias trying to break through the defensive lines. Ellie Jones having his pocket picked. Launched upfield by Philip Curto, and Lockie Rose has got the better of Jack Clisby. He's got that goal side. Great skill from Lockie Rose. Still there for the Bulls. Nicolau. Germain. Bacchus. Appeals for handballs from the Bulls supporter in the crowd, but they're a little bit sloppy, the Wanderers, in trying to clear their lines. This is Valère Germain. Well, they were almost the authors of their own downfall there, Western Sydney Wanderers.
Yeah, a bit going on there. First of all, Valère Germain frustrated, not getting the support from his team. There's the handball shout. Valère Germain ultimately takes matters into his own hand. For the first time this afternoon, you'd say Wanderers just standing off in their defensive shape a bit. No one taking responsibility at the back there. And these are the moments that the Rudan side cannot afford to do that.
Well, the XG probably tells a fairly true story of what's transpired this evening, but XG is all well and good. It's goals on the board that matter. And the Wanderers haven't been able to get the third. Maybe they will here. Marcus Antonsson fires wide. Big chance that for the Swede. It was offside as Wanderers fans go through the Poznan routine.
A huge moment for the Wanderers. It's that incisive passing that on a few occasions this afternoon has just pulled apart the Macarthur defence.
Meantime, at the other end, lovely long release to find Jed Drew. Back post is Lockie Rose, but Jack Gibson will pluck it out of the air.
Gibson gratefully seeing that one into his hands. Good for the young goalkeeper to get a few positive touches on the ball, but it was a wonderful release pass, and the ball there not troubling Gibson too much.
Prius pleading for a foul. Ollie Jones saying there was no problem. There's no flag. Dylan Prius then grabbed hold of the ball. But free kick is the verdict in favour of Western Sydney. Hendricks to deliver. So a little look to see perhaps where Marcelo is. It's in that direction. Hook towards goal. Quite cleverly by Dylan Prius, but not the strength on it to get past Curto.
It would have been a pretty special strike had that found its way to the back of the net. Dylan Prius with the acrobatic attempt.
But try as they might, the Wanderers just can't quite put the Bulls to bed. Are we going to have a late twist? We had an unwanted late twist, of course, in Wellington last week, where we were probably the better team for most of the game against the Phoenix, but lost out late on. 2 stoppage time goals. Spin by Russell and Ninkovic. Lovely threaded ball through. There's 2 players there, one of whom is Gabriel Kleur, and at the back post is Valentino Yul, who in all likelihood seals the deal for the Western Sydney Wanderers. They've had to wait a while, and it was the incisiveness of Milos Ninkovic in the earlier part of that move that perhaps made the difference. Good finish from Yul, and it's 3-1 for the red and black.
Well, Marco Rudan on the Harvey Norman replay can breathe a sigh of relief. This is really clever movement from Valentino Yul. Just drifts away from his opponent, and then at the last moment darts in. First to get his head to the ball. Bundles that into the back of the net. It's a strong finish. And you'd have to say on the balance of play, a deserved one for the Western Sydney Wanderers.
Well, Valentino Yul, in his 4 games so far for the Wanderers, has delivered 2 goals and 1 assist. It's not a bad return. And that goal count goes up to 19. And surely now the Bulls are done. You never know, there is still a little bit of time left, but that would appear to be the decisive blow. Hanley Stan joining in with the red and black block, and he's had a good impact. Signed on until the end of the season. After that rather interesting move to Iran with Aluminium Arak, which didn't last too long, nor did a loan spell to Qatar with Salal. He's found his feet at the Wanderers, and he's threaded the ball through for Antonsen, and it needs Yerman to put the ball behind for a corner.
Well, that 3rd goal has certainly given the Wanderers a bit of confidence and perhaps some comfort late into this game. Nervy moments when you just lead in by the 1 goal.
And Milos Ninkovic played a big part in it. Vision and awareness to spot the gap and the ability to execute it. From that point on, the Bulls are in trouble. Here's Hendricks' corner. Marcelo can't get clean contacts, and behind by Bonnetti. If it stays this way, the Wanderers will be outright 3rd at the end of round 10. Just 2 points behind Wellington Phoenix and Melbourne Victory at the top of the ladder. Jones. Paramount Plus player index still has Jake Holman at the top of those standings, as he was at half-time. Valentino Yul has moved into the second spot. A bit harsh on Nicholas Milanovic, 2 assists, and he's only good enough for third, Grace.
Well, I guess that depends on how much weight you put on XG. Leave that to the Opta stats.
The Bulls need a goal from somewhere, and they need it quickly. They crowded out Valentino Yul, who in contact with Lachlan Rose, who's down in a bit of pain. Advantage played. Holman and Valère-Germain has a shot blocked by Bonatic.
Even that pass from Holman defies Germain. Such quality for a young player. He's been a bright spark this afternoon in this Macarthur Bulls side.
Yeah, he's having a terrific season. Rose able to get the better of the Wanderers' defence, who switch into attack pronto, and it's Dylan Parias leading the charge. Now Valentino Yul also got numbers back, and Hendricks and Kleur content to play a little bit of keep ball. Parias stopped in his tracks by Yerman. A foul by Marcelo. We're into the last minute of the regulation 90. Bulls staring down the barrel of 3 consecutive defeats. All that after a 7-game unbeaten start to the campaign. Jed Drew. A corner off Clisby.
Of urgency from Macarthur late in this one. As we promised, it would be an entertaining match, physical one at that. Goals as well, which we've seen, some really good quality.
Well, we've had 4 each at this venue in the 2 previous meetings between the 2 teams, and 4 again tonight. And the Bulls provide a 5th to make it a really nerve-jangling finale for the Wanderers. Backers to retrieve the ball. Into the first of 6 additional minutes. Headed away by Marcelo. Reload through Holman. Flatter delivery. Marcelo again. On the balance of play over the 90 minutes, probably difficult to argue that the Wanderers are good value for that scoreline.
It's been a fairly resounding performance by the Red and Black this afternoon, particularly the first 45 minutes, but the second half too, they've built their way back into it. And even just nursing the 1-goal lead, they did feel in control of the match for the most part. Swivel of the hips, left or right. Just bamboozles his opponents. Kleur. Nicked away from him briefly by Drew. He was excellent tonight, Nicholas Milanovic. 2 really good assists to give the Wanderers a platform which looked likely to end up in 3 important points.
Yeoman. Ninkovic. It's always so balanced in control. Hendricks, little angle ball, and Ninkovic has found space. I reckon that was destined for the top corner. That was his intention anyway.
Well, he
Quite the execution.
He did. You saw him bring his hands to his head immediately. The ball again from Hendricks, so incisive. Just those moments you sit back in your chair and just marvel at the quality. And oh, if anyone can finish from that kind of range on 1-2 touch, it is Milos Ninkovic, and what a joy it is to see him back out on the field.
It's been said many times before, if you get your imports right in the A-League, give yourselves a really good opportunity to be successful. You look at the likes of Marcelo, Hendricks, Antonsen and Ninkovic, the spine really of the Wanderers team, when all are fit of course. Here's Ali Ugla for the Bulls. Is there anything left for Macarthur? Germain shot charged down. And Valère Germain with a second bite of the cherry. Brought down nicely by Holman. Jed Drew on the right, needs a good delivery. It's an awkward one, could stretch that. And it's Politig who gets a pat on the back and a word of praise from his young goalkeeper, Jack Gibson. There's the attendance today, a healthy 11,382.
That's brilliant. It's good Monday night football. First game of the new calendar year. And they've been entertained as well. Some really good quality moments. Politig, well, he's been a big part of that, the youngster.
If the Bulls are going to get anything out of this game, they've got to score from this corner, you'd fancy. Jed Drew's delivery. Take two. Ushkop, one possibility. If Drew can pick him out. Same sort of delivery, and it drops for the Bulls at the back post, and Ushkop. Rose finds his way to goal blocked. But Ushkop had a chance there. Rose. Bacchus. Holman. Plenty of bodies forward in white. Nicolau. Not the ball they wanted. Parias. Over, that's going to be a card for Ollie Jones. Easiest decision of the night for Sean Evans.
Tactical foul there, just to slow Parias down, we know. And he's got pace to burn. And that would have been a sight, and his eyes lit up.
Well, it was a foul, really. He had no other choice but to commit. Yul, whose goal has set the seal on a pretty good night for Western Sydney Wanderers. And Sean Evans brings proceedings to a close, and the Wanderers start the new year with 3 points as they secure outright third place after 10 rounds. 2 assists for Nicholas Milanovic. He was excellent, particularly in that first half, teeing up Marcus Antonsen after just 3 minutes, and then Aidan Simmons for the second on 13. Jake Holman got the Bulls back in the game with the goal of the night, and Macarthur hung in for long periods before Valentino Yul's late goal. Milos Ninkovic, heavily involved in that one, sealed the deal for the red and black. The Bulls fall to their third consecutive defeat. That promising start's beginning to evaporate a little for Miller Stojovski's team, and a busy period ahead for the Bulls as well. Full time in Parramatta, Western Sydney Wanderers 3, Macarthur 1. We're going to head to the break. On the other side of it, we've got the full-time show. Stay with us for reaction from Combat. Back soon.
Oh, here goes Sam Kerr, through on goal. Kerr blasts it into the roof of the net. Australia's all-time leading goal scorer. Fowler, it opens up for the shot. Oh, Mary Fowler, breathtaking. What a goal from the Golden Girl, Mary Fowler.
And that, of course, is the reminder that we don't need, but we love to see as the Matildas Olympics campaign continues. I'm here now at the moment side of the pitch of Combank with Nicholas Milanovic, the Isuzu Ute player of the game. Nicholas, what a result for you guys today. You were clearly in bed before 10 p.m. last night.
Yeah, of course. It was definitely an early night last night. I think a few of us watched the 9 o'clock fireworks, not the 11:30 and 12. But yeah, that's what we wanted. We wanted to start fast. We wanted to start on the front foot, and that's what we did.
Yeah, you certainly did. From the blocks, you were off. 2 more assists from you as well. Just how important was the win today, considering what happened in Wellington just before Chrissy?
Yeah, well, the boss wanted a reaction, and I feel like we gave him that. Obviously, we slackened off a bit at the end of the second half, but it was important that we went in the break and come out in the second half hard and fast, and we did that. And obviously, you watch results, you see results on the table, and it was important that we come back to put pressure on the top teams.
Really felt like you needed that third goal. It took a long time coming, but you got it in the end and fully deserved it.
Yeah, I felt like we deserved more. We were I felt like we lacked a bit in that final third, but then again, 3 goals usually wins you the game. So yeah.
Great to see Ninko back as well. You're going to come into a very important game against the Mariners next week. Again, tell us about the camp. What's going to happen now from January on? This really sets a stall up for you.
Yeah, it was important. Like I said, I think especially having Ninko back, that experience and wisdom he provides, especially us young players, it's huge. It's huge for the team. It gives us a boost, and you saw it tonight. Yeah.
Huge congratulations on today. Isuzu Ute man of the match. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thanks very much, Tristan. And confirmation that Nicholas Milanovic got 3 points in the Alex Tobin Medal Award marks today. Jorrit Hendricks was very good. He got 2, Jake Holman with 1, but really could make a case for several Wanderers players this evening. Great skill, but Milanovic got top marks, and deservedly so for those 2 assists as much as anything else.
Yeah, he did, and he just spoke to Tristan about starting fast, starting on the front foot, and he was evidence of exactly that. His work rate, assist aside, he gets through a mountain of work. His effort is relentless, and the fact that he was able to help his team get off to the kind of start they did, well, he put them in a great position going into the second half of this one.
And he's still young, Nicholas Milanovic, only 22 years of age, lots more to come from him. The Wanderers players about to begin their celebrations with their adoring public in the red and black block, and we can go back down to Tristan.
Thank you, Simon. I'm here with Marco Rodan. Marco, Happy New Year, first off. Are you happy with the performance? Great result.
Yeah, I thought the performance was just as good. I thought the first half we created the better opportunities. We played out a little bit differently, and I thought it was good. If you look at the team that we had on the park, and then in the second half we continued to press on. Our keeper didn't really have to make a save as such, but we peppered their penalty box quite often, and it could have even been more.
I was just going to talk about Jack Gibson there. Tough to come into a game like this for your debut for the start of the season. Not much he could have done about the first goal, but overall pretty confident, strong defence ahead of him as well.
Yeah, he's been good ever since he came into our environment, in pre-season. He's been great. I always tell players, you've got to be ready for your opportunity. The opportunity only arises when you're ready. You look at Battleado as well, it was his first start. And I thought it was really good. There's a lot of young kids out there today, and they understand their roles and responsibilities, and then you feed them with confidence, and they'll never let you down. And I've always said that, we've got a really good bunch. The plan moving forward, at this football club, as long as I'm here, is just to continue to inject this youth, and continue to develop them, because, they've got what it takes, and you've got to back them in, but they've got to take their chances as well. And today I thought the majority of them, took their opportunity.
I thought Gabriel Clure was fantastic in centre midfield. When I saw him coming on, I assumed we were managing minutes for Simmons, but he came on, he made that run for the 3rd goal like he got the 4th time last year. What do you get from Gabriel playing centre mid there?
It's an interesting one with Gabby. Watching everyone really closely and the skill sets that they provide and they can offer for this football team. I thought we were lacking in that midfield department. Obviously Joshy Brillante is out, and Oscar Priestman's had his 2 starts in a row now, but we needed a little bit of cover, and he has a skill set. He's got a good first touch. He's quite athletic. He knows how to get into pockets. He knows how to make those forward runs at the right time as well. He adjusted superbly, and maybe it was a bit of a shock to him when I spoke to him one-on-one, last week, and said, look, I'm going to have a look at you in midfield this week, and he said, why not? And that's fantastic. Every single player in this squad has got a fantastic attitude to always get better and continue to grow. I'm no different. We're all the same, and that's what we're about.
So congratulations today. All the best. Enjoy it.
Yep, always good for Marco Rodan to have options, and Gabriel Clure was one of those today. Let's go through the Harvey Norman highlights. Great skill, and look at the goals. Lovely ball, wasn't it, from Jorrit Hendricks, who must have been pretty close to man of the match himself.
Yeah, he was spectacular this afternoon too, and Marco Rodan, well, he'll enjoy watching these ones back, as will the players, just how easy these goals can be manufactured and created. And of course the man of the match, and Nicholas Milanovic, well, he was behind 2 of them and worked exceptionally hard this afternoon.
Yeah, the perfect start for the Wanderers, that goal coming after just 3 minutes, and they were 2 clear. 10 minutes after that, Aidan Simmons climbing high above Jake Holman at the back post to convert another Milanovic cross.
Well, it was perhaps the only time this afternoon that Jake Holman was beaten, and it was a spectacular leap too from Aidan Simmons, and still as a young player himself, this takes good timing, good accuracy to steer that back across the face of the goal. And Well, 2 goals in, and the Wanderers were sitting pretty comfortably at this point.
But Macarthur Bulls are much more resilient, of course, this season when they won, in inverted commas, the wooden spoon, and they gave themselves a chance in this contest, and they stayed in the game for a long period because of this. And this is, well, it's one of the goals of the season.
It's a pretty special strike, and this will be one that Jake Holman will watch on repeat, and deservedly so as well. Took matters into his own hand. He's hit that really casually, but hit it oh so sweetly. And this kept Macarthur alive for a good portion of the game. Fairly subdued celebration, trying to get their game back in rolling.
The introduction of the substitutes did the job for Marco Redan. Ninkovic and Kleur involved in the build-up. And a third, Valentino Yul, applying the killer touch.
Yeah, and as much as the late arrival from Yul was superb, as was the cross from Kleur, he's picked out the run of Valentino Yul so well. Those two combining together, and of course it was the secondary assist of Milos Ninkovic, who's welcomed himself back into red and black with aplomb, and that really secured the deal for Marco Redan's side.
Yeah, Valentino Yul, 2 goals and 1 assist in his 4 games in red and black. It was an entertaining game, lots of shots, particularly from the Wanderers, who racked up 28 in total, but were perhaps ruining their profligacy a little bit until Valentino Yul eventually got that 3rd and decisive goal, and the Wanderers outright 3rd tonight after 10 rounds. Now, what about the Bulls? They've conceded 3 goals now in each of 5 of the last 7 games in this competition. Let's hear from their coach, Milos Sajovski. He's with Tristan.
Mile, condolences on the result today. Simon just mentioned it seemed to be a perfect start for Wanderers. That's ultimately what killed you in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It was a difficult start for us, going down 2-0. But I thought after that we settled, and I thought we controlled for most of the game. I was very happy with the effort in the second half, especially. Where I thought we controlled the game and just didn't put away our chances that we had. And you got to give credit to the Wanderers for starting so strong.
It's unfortunate that's 3 games on the row with a couple of losses. Earlier in the season, things just seem to be going your way all the time as well. How do you get the team, considering they're playing so well, out of that slump, for want of a better word?
It's difficult to say. I think we just keep working. Keep believing. We stick to our processes, and we'll look to turn it around. We just need a bit of luck, but keep working ultimately. And just keep believing. Big game against the Jets coming up now next week as well. You've seen them. They've kind of similar in terms of just trying to get results. They got a win last weekend as well. What are you expecting from them? Yeah, they're a well-coached team. We're expecting a difficult game, but we're playing at home, so we're going to take the game to them and look to get a result. Thanks for taking time today. Onwards and upwards. Appreciate it. All the best. Happy New Year.
Yeah, very disappointed, Milos Sajovski, understandably so. The goal's starting to leak in at the wrong end so far as his team is concerned. A little bit of consolation for Jake Holman. He was top of the Paramount Plus Player Index, 95.4 out of 100 in terms of his total marks. And this goal is going to be replayed once or twice more before the end of this calendar year. Praise Gill.
Of round 11.
Well, understandably so as well. And Jake Holman, as we mentioned during the call, in what was a difficult first half for Macarthur, he was a bright moment. And hard to disagree with Milos Sajovski that the second half from Macarthur was much better, and well, Jake Holman was at the base of so much of that.
Well, Macarthur will have to rebuild. That home game to come against Newcastle on the 5th of January. The Wanderers can celebrate a job well done. That's it from me and Grace in commentary. Back to Tristan to wrap up the show, and a very happy new year to you as well.
So that's how it all wraps up today, just like it did on the 1st of January last year. Another 4 goals, another Wanderers victory. Let's take a look at all the results from round 10 from the A-League so far. It all started on Thursday night with an 8-1 win from Melbourne City over Brisbane Roar. Sydney with the 3-1 win over the league leaders Wellington Phoenix. Jets going up 2-0 against John Aloisi's Western United. Victory still unbeaten, a 2-0 win over Adelaide. Central Coast last night taking the 4-2 win over Perth Glory. And as we just saw, Western Sydney Wanderers taking out Macarthur 3-1. How does that affect the ladder? Let's take a look at it now. As we said, Wellington Phoenix hold the top on games won as opposed to goals scored or goal difference. Wanderers solidify their place in 3rd place there. Melbourne City 4th, Macarthur stay in 5th. Looking at the bottom, we've got Brisbane Roar at the top of the second half. Adelaide, Sydney, Newcastle Jets, Perth Glory, and then Western United propping everybody up. It's been another fantastic weekend of A-League football. Make sure this is your last chance to take advantage of the Paramount Plus offer. Save 50% on your annual plans. You've got a couple more hours to do that. From us here at CommBank, it's a goodbye and a happy new year.